Okay. Hello, everybody. We are testing right now. If anybody has any notes, please tell us in the chat. If there are any issues with the voice or there are any issues with the video, we'll be starting in around 2 minutes. Currently, we have 8 viewers. Please stay tuned. Okay, perfect. So we should start. All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Telecom Knowledge Management Broadcast. We are very, very delighted to be back. We would like to thank you all for tuning in today. In this episode, we'll be talking about quite an interesting topic, to say the least, and we can actually encounter this topic during our daily lives and our lives at work. My name is Madar Fozan. I'll be your host today, and my guest is Abdulatif Al-Rabah, and he'll be talking about is luck controllable. Welcome, Abdulatif.
Welcome. Good morning.
Please give us a brief about yourself.
Yeah, my name is Abdulatif Al-Rabah. I am Solution Development Manager at SDNNV Center of Excellence.
Perfect. So let's start off this discussion with a simple question. Why did you choose this topic?
Yeah, I chose this topic because luck has different people. Usually, they perceive luck in different way. So if I'm asking a question to you now, and let's say there is an airplane, and God forbid this airplane went down and crashes on ground, and everybody die in that airplane. So would you, except one man, he survived. So would you describe this man a lucky person or unlucky?
I would say he's a lucky person that he did not die. Yeah.
Yeah. Most of the people will do, but there is some people, they will say no, he's not lucky, because why at the beginning he was involved in that flight? Because you may change your opinion if you know that this guy has been in similar death accidents in the last month 5 times, for example. So you start changing your mind. Maybe this guy is really unlucky, so because he's been involved in such accidents multiple times.
So if we don't look at the context, like if we don't look at the history of someone or
Yes.
a specific situation, we could say that he's lucky or unlucky, but we don't really know.
Yeah, I mean, people will perceive some event in different ways. So they will say it lucky, positive luck, or negative.
Clear. So let's make it clear for the audience. What does luck exactly mean?
How do you define luck, you mean?
Yeah, how do you define luck?
Okay, so usually we describe things as a luck event if it is an independent event, unexpected, and it happens with no cause from your side, or you don't have any control on that event, and it has positive or negative impact on your life.
Okay.
And this topic started to become part of the scientific research recently, and there is recent study shows that what we usually describe as luck events is actually not a pure chances. It is happened due to our personality and our behavior and decision. So yet people will describe it as luck, but it's not independent. It's happened because of us. So I would say there is a pure chances which may only consist 20% of luck, and there is a huge part of what people describe as luck is actually a controllable luck. It has happened because of our decisions.
Perfect. So let's say that luck has 2 components. The first component is the pure chance.
Yes.
And as you said, it's only 20%.
Yeah, it is like smaller circle, 20%, and the bigger circle, which is the controllable luck.
The 80% is a psychological effect.
Yes.
That's really interesting. So let's actually talk about if luck exists or not. Because as you said, it's only 20% pure chance.
Yes.
So does it really exist?
So even with this definition, I would say yes, it is exists, but you have to consider this different. So yes, it exists, the luck does exist, but only 20% of what people usually describe as luck event is actually pure chances, and all the people are equal on that. There's no lucky or unlucky person on that pure chances. But for the controllable part of the luck, I would say yes, there is a lucky person and there is unlucky person. And here, so the best is not to describe things by bad luck or good luck. We can describe the people by lucky personality or unlucky personality because of that controllable part of luck. And there is a famous study by Richard Wiseman. He studied a group of 400 people.
Just before you go on, sorry,
Yeah.
Richard Wiseman, just to give the audience an idea about who he is, he's a psychological scientist.
Yeah. And in the UK, he's professor in psychology.
Yes, and he made this study.
It is extensive study for 400 people who volunteered to participate in this study for 10 years.
What was the purpose of the study?
So the purpose of the study, he asked the people to volunteer to this study if they describe themselves a lucky person or unlucky person. So the average people who don't perceive themselves either lucky or not, they will not participate.
Okay.
So all the participants were either describe themselves lucky or unlucky. And it spanned in 10 years. It includes interview and psychological tests and experiments. So what was his final conclusion is what I told you. The pure chances is only 20% of the events, and it was all the people are equivalent in that, the lucky or unlucky people. The 80% was due to their behavior, their decision, and their different personality.
Okay, so we can say that people are equal in terms of pure chances, which is the 20% part.
Yes.
But what makes people lucky or unlucky is actually their psychological side, which is the biggest part of what luck is.
Yeah,
so
they are different characteristics of their personality.
Okay, so let's say that someone comes to you and says, okay, I understand what you're saying, that it's really dependent on psychological effects, but let's say that there is someone that goes to the difficult it is to win the lottery. So it's pretty difficult to win the lottery, and let's say this person goes again to...
and he win again, for example.
Yeah, he wins again.
Okay.
So, can we say that this person really is very, very lucky, even if he doesn't do anything of the psychological effect?
Yeah, even it may sound strange, but yes, it is because of his decision and his behavior. It is very hard to explain it, but there is a concept in the statistics called regression to the mean concept, and this regression to the mean concept means that our brain usually tend to balance the probability to the mean. I will give you an example. If you have like a coin, if you flip a coin, it is either head or tail. But if you flip it 4 times and all the 4 times it shows head. So most of the people, if you ask him, what do you think the 5th time we flip it, what will show? Most of the people will say tail, because they want to regress to the mean, because they know the total should be 50-50. And there is 4 times head and the 5th time must be tail. So this is how our brains work. So this guy, when he took the bet for the first lottery chance, and maybe it's 50-50, he won. The next time he will be more careful because he thinks he will lose, and he will keep taking safer bet each time. He will take lower risk, so that's why he's keep winning. And it is the opposite for the guy who start with the loss.
So the concept is regression to the mean, and it means that humans tend to balance
the
probabilities.
Yeah.
So, for example, this person who won the lottery multiple times, he will start
thinking he will lose next time,
yeah,
so he'll take safer bet.
So yeah, basically regression to the mean is how we tend to balance things out. So people can research about this concept. So we can see that some people are asking questions. Please feel free to ask questions, and we will look at them at the end. So in summary, for the people who are just tuning in now, we have defined luck. And we said that luck consists of pure chances and psychological effects. So the chances are 20% and people are equal in terms of chances. And the difference is when people are
In the controllable luck.
yeah, and the controllable part, which is 80%, which is the majority of luck, is controllable by people, by their psychological aspects. And we said that luck exists, but we can say that there is a lucky personality and unlucky personality. So this is what we want to discuss now. How can you define, or what does lucky personality mean? This is the important part. How can we be on the lucky personality side?
Okay, so let me go back to the study of Richard Wiseman. So he found that the lucky personality, the lucky persons have three main characteristics that are not there in the people who describe themselves unlucky. And these three characteristics is very extreme in the lucky people. And okay, so let me tell you these three characteristics. First one is the people who describe themselves as a lucky, usually they are very relaxed to notice opportunities, while the unlucky people are more anxious and they are more worried usually, so they will not notice the opportunities.
They'll be anxious to to notice the opportunities.
Yes, they will be like task oriented and they are very narrow in their scope of what they are focused on, so they will lose the opportunities for other things. I will give you example of experiment he did. He gave them a newspaper. He asked him to count how many photographs in the newspaper. So all the people start counting, and in the third page there is a half page of advertisement, and it says, "Stop counting. There are 43 photographs till the experiment." All the lucky people, when they saw this, they stopped. They told the professor there are 43 photographs.
Okay.
While many of the unlucky people, they didn't notice, or even if they notice, they will skip it. They will keep counting. So you see, the lucky people are more relaxed. And the second characteristic is the people who describe themselves lucky are more open to new things, to try new things, to have new experience, and to get to know to new people. While the unlucky people are very stick to their routine and they don't prefer to change.
There's an interesting example about Apple's farm.
Yeah, he described this as like apple farms. Life is like apple farms. If you are living in a farm and you have a basket, and each time you go with different path inside the farm, you will collect apple each day. But if you go every day in the same path, you didn't change it, you stick to your routine, with the time, you will not start finding any apples because all opportunity already lost. While the farm is full of apples, but you are keeping doing the same routine. And there is a third characteristic, which is the lucky people, they use what's known in psychology as positive counterfactual thinking. And this means they are looking to the positive side even with a very bad situation. So they are looking to the filled part of the cup. I can say this one. So, and he gave hypothetical example experiment to the people, and he asked the lucky people, if you were going to the bank, for example, and there was a bank robbery, and the guy starts shooting fire and he hit you in the shoulder. So would you describe this? Would you describe yourself lucky for being there or not lucky? All the lucky people, they said they are lucky. And the people who describe themselves unlucky, they say definitely this is unlucky event.
So in short, we can say that there are 3 points to making a lucky personality. The first one is that we are, or the people that are considered to be having lucky personalities, they are relaxed to more opportunities, and they are open to try new things and experiences, and they have this positive counterfactual thinking where they always look at the positive side of things. So let me ask you the other side of the conversation, which is how does luck affect our daily life and our productivity at work? in around a couple of minutes.
Yeah, this will tell us there are different personality, and it will lead you, either your lucky personality will lead you to good fortune, and your unlucky personality will get you in bad, let's say, luck event. So usually in work, they prefer generally to have a task oriented, let's say, mentality, or you take less risk, you do things as expected and in the same procedure and process. So you have to respect this one, and you have to adapt this mentality if you work like this. Even though maybe it is the opposite for some jobs in some area, maybe they prefer to try new things and do things in new way. But what I am saying here is this applies even for the daily life. So in your normal life, usually the people who describe themselves lucky are more happier than the people who describe themselves unlucky. So the more you go to the lucky personality side, you will be more happy.
So let's
So
see.
it is good to adapt more of the lucky personality
Mindset.
characteristics
So let's
and
say
mindset. Yes.
if we have how to have the lucky personality is by applying the three characteristics that we
Yeah.
said before, which
You
are
have to adapt yourself to
Yeah.
these characteristics.
and these characteristics will allow you to have the positive mindset, which will allow you to be more productive at your work and
Yes.
in your day-to-day life. So at the end, we can give a couple of advices to our audience about how they can improve their luck.
Yeah, I will conclude with some advices. Richard Wiseman, at the end of his study, he started a new project. He called it Luck School, and by Luck School there is some four principles. If you adopt these principles and you start doing the practice he mentioned there, you will start prepare yourself, train yourself to go from the unlucky side personality to the lucky personality side. And I would advise the people to go and search about it. It's called Luck School by Richard Wiseman. And there is important thing to mention here. The lucky people, when they are adopting the characteristic of the way of they are thinking, their mindset, they already raised like this. This is their original, let's say, personality. So they already skilled to overcome the negative drawbacks of this mentality or this mindset. So if somebody will adopt or change his way of doing things, maybe he will get himself in some trouble. So you have to also develop your skills to overcome the negative side of this mindset.
Perfect. So people can look at the Luck School, which is developed or made by Richard Wiseman, and it has 4 principles. And the other advice is to build or develop a lucky mindset or a skill set. Because as you said, there are some people that are raised to be more positive, and this will help them in their life to have this positive and lucky mindset. And for the people that were not fortunate enough to have this raising or to have this mentality, they need to develop it, and it's not something that is impossible to develop. So at the end, let's see if the audience has any questions. For now, we only see one, but I'm not sure if it's. I think we might have touched on that in our conversation. But for now, let's just summarize what we discussed. We have defined luck. We discussed if luck exists or not, and we talked about the lucky personality and how luck can affect our day-to-day life and our life at work. And we have given a couple of advices on how we can improve our luck. Now,
Yes.
is there anything you would like to add, or if the audience has any questions, please let us know. And if not, we will be ending the stream in a couple of minutes. So
Actually, there is an article by same Professor Richard Wiseman. He summarized his study. It's called the luck factor. So we may share it. And there is a lot of example and a lot of experiment he did to the lucky and unlucky persons. And it gives you really confidence that the lucky person. They are thinking in a different way. That's why they got more fortune in their life.
Perfect. So now we have been running for around 20 minutes, so I think it's a good time to end the stream. Thank you all for tuning in, and thank you, Abdul Latif,
Thank
for
you.
your time and for your effort. It's been a pleasure to host you, and it was an interesting topic. And thank you for the audience who have tuned in with us. We would love to have you again in the next episode. And I will share with you a link that if anybody is interested to give a speech or to be hosted on this broadcast, he can apply and we would love to have you. So thank you again for listening, and we will see you in the next episode.